Well, for a little more on this, I'm joined now live on set by Jean-Marc SANCHEZ, a Spanish lawyer. Thank you very much for finding the time to speak to us today. Good morning. So we've heard from Carles Puigdemont this morning. We've also heard from the Spanish government. Neither side really sounding like they're particularly willing to break the stalemate and have a dialogue. So where does Spain go from here? How do we make progress?
Well, I think now it's on Mr. Puigdemont to declare or not if he is willing for independence. He goes one step back, two steps forward. And Vice President of the Spanish government, Soraya Sáenz de Santamaría, made it very clear this morning. The question is easy, so the answer should be easy. It's yes or no.
Now, Spain has threatened, we've heard this morning, to invoke Article 155 of the Constitution, and that would involve them seizing control in Catalonia. But in practice, what does that look like? What might that mean?
Well, it's quite a complicated, actually, mechanism. First, you have to call through a formal notice to get an answer from the Catalonian government. Then the Catalonian government should answer, and this is actually what Carles Puigdemont did this morning. He sent a letter saying that he neither said he would be for the independence or against. So the Spanish Prime Minister has asked for an additional notice of 5 more days until Thursday morning, 10 a.m., when they should say whether or not they declare independence. If they do so, then the government has the option to ask for the application of Article 155. It's not immediate. First, they should go to the Senate, where the Partido Popular, the party of the actual Prime Minister, Mariano Rajoy, has a majority, so they will get the vote. They will go to a special commission called the Comisión de Ejecución de las Autonomías, which basically is the commission where questions and answers will be asked on either sides. And finally, the Congress, the Congreso de los Diputados, the Parliament and the Senate should decide whether or not 155 will be applied. And if so, the possibility not of a suspension of a Generalitat, but of the total control of Madrid over Catalonia would be possible within the next few weeks from now.
Okay, now, on election day itself, there we saw these images of the Spanish police behaving really in quite a draconian way during that vote taking place in Catalonia. Do you think that if the Madrid authorities had acted differently, we might have ended up in a different situation now? Could this the tension between Barcelona and Madrid have been avoided?
Well, I think that this is not actually the worst-case scenario. The worst-case scenario is actually what's happening now. I mean, you've seen the same images around the world, and this is now what's going to happen. Companies are itching every day to live in Spain and Catalonia. Some companies which actually were willing to invest in Catalonia will probably decide not to do it. And some other companies which are in Catalonia today will probably move their headquarters, as the major IBEX, the Madrid Stock Exchange companies in Catalonia did last week. So I'm not sure things could have been done otherwise differently. Now it's up to the independentistas to decide whether they want to stay or to leave. And the answer is on Mr. Puigdemont's side.
And let me ask you just finally, in terms of the European reaction, we've heard in general European leaders standing quite strongly, saying that they remain with Madrid on this issue. Is there anything that Carles Puigdemont can do to try and bring them on the side of independence?
I don't think so. I mean, first, Madrid will never accept it. Then why and how should someone from the outside who does not know Spain, who does not know anything about this crisis, which is quite complex, so difficult to solve among Spaniards, would be able to do it? We've heard about the Swiss mediation. We've heard about the European mediation. And surprisingly enough, Europe never really wanted to have the nations or the states in between. Now, I think Brussels is quite happy to have a Spanish government, a strong and firm Spanish government abiding by the Constitution in order to resolve that problem. Imagine if tomorrow this happens in Catalonia, who's next?
It's a very good question indeed.
That's a big issue. And I think that's what's going to be about the talks of Mariano Rajoy in Brussels during the summit that will take place on Thursday and Friday. So nothing will happen before Saturday. Then Saturday there will be probably a reunion of the crisis cabinet like Mariano Rajoy did last week. And then potential decision could take place and be enforced 1 week from now, next Monday. So let's have a look on what's going to happen within the next few days.
Absolutely, and we'll be following that story very closely. Thank you very much,
indeed for your analysis on that.
Well, let's